A legend, a pillar of society, and soon to be college football's winningest coach. From Shreveport, Louisiana, Dave Duckett for ESPN.
Meanwhile, from our Yogi Berra It Ain't Over Till It's Over department, we offer this Division III game this past weekend between Principia College in the white and homestanding Illinois College in the blue. Principia College quarterback John Hines hit Rob Guthrie with a touchdown pass with 28 seconds to go to give Principia a 20-15 lead. Time running down, Illinois College quarterback Joe Kilday of the Blue Boys fades back from his 36. Yeah, the Hail Mary is caught by Tim Fritchie for a touchdown. 2 seconds to go. 22-20 Illinois College. The team runs off the bench. They have the victory in hand. Or do they? They elect to make the squib kick. Principia recovers it, goes down. There's still 1 second to go. So, John Hines says, we'll try Hail Mary too. Randy Mitchell, the defender, tips it. Dan Sellers catches it. An amazing win. 26-22 for Principia. Your basic 28-second, 3-touchdown job. Congratulations to Principia. And obviously, those were the team films. They were shot on a half-inch video, if you are wondering, just like you and I might shoot on our home video set. And we want to thank them for a very exciting show.
Probably a preview of the Bears-Vikings game this evening. We'll tell you all about it at 11:30 Eastern Time. I'm Greg Gumbel.
I'm Chris Berman. See you later.
On Speedweek, the NASCAR points chase tightens up.
A youngster cleans up in Trans Am.
And a young veteran finally wraps it up in AMA.
This and more next on Speedweek. Speedweek is brought to you by BF Goodrich, makers of high-performance TA radials. We make cars perform. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Pennzoil Motor Oil. Quality protection. Ask for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Larry Newber, and welcome to Speedweek.
And I'm Bob Jenkins. NASCAR ran another super speedway race last weekend, so you would naturally think Bill Elliott would be in the winner's circle. Well, he wasn't, and as a result, the points battle is heating up.
A point system that Darrell Waltrip once criticized is now playing into his hands. It may seem hard to believe, but Darrell took a big bite out of Elliott's NASCAR point lead last weekend, although Darrell has won only 2 races. Mark Allen reports.
Pole-sitter Bill Elliott's dream September looked like it would continue based on the first third of the 500-lap race. As usual, Awesome Bill was busy lapping most of the 39-car field. But drama was provided by the track itself, which gobbled up tires at a fearsome rate. Frequent blistered and badly worn tires kept all pit crews frantic, as were Goodyear tire mounters who didn't get a moment's rest. Car after car lost ground to Elliott's while getting good tires. But despite these woes and the demanding 1-mile track, Buddy Baker was one of only 2 cars to retire because of accident. Just before mid-race, number 15 Ricky Rudd and 33 Harry Gant made some adjustments to run down Elliott, who at first seemed to be saving his car and tires, but he had a problem. The Winston Cup points leader had a broken rear axle and spent nearly 60 laps on the jack stand getting a new one. Most of the final 250 laps was a 4-car shootout, with number 11 Darrell Waltrip and 22 Bobby Allison having joined the duel. But Gant found the best tires and handling to build a half-a-lap lead. After the front 4 pitted with 100 laps left, Gant still held a sizable edge. Soon after, Rudd and Allison fell far off the pace when their handling went away, but they had enough gas to go the distance. Gant and Waltrip weren't so sure, but both decided to roll the dice. Gant came up the winner with barely 1 gallon of gas left in his tank. His second win of the year was good medicine for a case of the flu he'd had all week. Meanwhile, Waltrip's tank went dry on the last lap, but coasted home second over the lapped cars of Rudd and Allison. Gant is now tied for 3rd for the most wins in 85, while Elliott finished 20th. This is Mark Allen reporting.
Waltrip now trails Bill by 86 points. That's about 25 positions with 6 races left on the schedule. Neil Bonnet holds 4th in 3rd position. Fourth is Harry Gann, and Ricky Rudd disposes Jeff Bodine and moves into fifth in the point standings.
The Modified Race of Champions has a fascinating and complex history. Its roots date back to legendary Langhorne Speedway, then the event moved to Trenton. Well, those tracks are gone, but the race survives, now on the longest modified track, the 3/4-mile oval at Pocono. Jay Chapman reports.
54 cars starting the 35th running of the Cam 2 Race of Champions. And the entry list reading like a who's who of modifieds. The pole sitter and pre-race favorite, Charlie Jar Zombeck, facing the field for the first 22 laps, but a broken front end and the lead passes to Bug Stevens. Attrition was the big story in this race, only 10 minutes old, and the third incident. Bugs runs through unscathed, but on his tail, Ken Bouchard and Jimmy Spencer. Those three swap the lead for the next 100 laps, but then on lap 188, Brett Bodine, younger brother of NASCAR's Jeff Bodine, assumes the lead and holds it for the next 62 laps to the finish. Second, George Kent, and then Jeff Fuller. For the Bodine family, it was another first-place finish at the Cam 2 Race of Champions. From the Pocono International Raceway for ESPN Speedweek, I'm Jay Chapman.
The NASCAR late model sportsman race at North Wilkesboro was won by Jack Ingram in a V6, the first victory for that engine in LMS. ARCA ended its season in Toledo last weekend, and Ed Haig won in another V6. Lee Raymond emerged as the series champion. Darrell Brown took the checkered in the All-Pro race in Montgomery, Alabama, and with 4 races to go, 4 drivers are in a tight points battle. The Winston Racing Series is over, and Doug McCowan, with 27 wins, is the national champion.
Mike Waltrip, Darrell's younger brother, has secured a Pontiac Grand National ride for next year with Hawaiian Punch sponsorship. Benny Parsons will drive an Olds in next year's Grand National Series, and the long-rumored NASCAR race at Watkins Glen will reportedly take place next August.
As September winds down, divisional champions are crowned weekly. We have reports on several this week, and one of the latest is one of the youngest in the Major League Racing around the world. SCCA's Trans Am division is a haven for veteran road racers, but a 22-year-old blew their doors off in points this year. That youngster gets an interesting jump either as or before the green flies at St. Louis Sunday. His teammate Willie T. Ribbs almost clips the wall on the left of your picture. He knew his only chance for the championship was winning. Up front, Caprizal, defending champ 38-year-old Tom Loy leads, and the soon-to-be regal Wally Dallenbach Jr. rides in fourth. The first 5 ran much of this race nose to tail, and then, as Dallenbach described it,
it was a good race. We just kind of ran smooth and ran our own pace, and watched DFR and Willie and Tom go at it, and I figured they'd get together before the day was over, so I was just kind of taking a back seat.
Loy said, "It wasn't my fault. Ribbs, I thought he saw me coming. I did not want to win that way." Willie's engine soon went away, and Wally's waiting game paid off. The 5th victory for the new champ. Willie still has 6.
The crew did a fantastic job. We finished every race this year.
Gloy recovered to place 2nd, Jim Miller last for 3rd, Chris Kniper 4th, and longtime campaigner Les Lindley emerged 5th. 2 races remain on the Trans Am schedule.
Coming up, in F1, the Speed Merchant is starting to finish,
while 2 speedsters plus 1 surprise win in drags.
BF Goodrich TA Radios update for enthusiasts. Subject off-road traction. More professional off-road races and more pro rallies were won last year on the same BF Goodrich TA radios you can buy than on any other tire. One reason, traction. Another, durability. And that same race-proven technology goes into a complete line of TA radials for many driving styles, including yours. BF Goodrich TA radials. We make cars and trucks perform.
To help get your car ready for fall, quality Pennzoil motor oil in this easy pour plastic bottle is on sale now. No coupons, no rebates, just real savings on all the Pennzoil you can get your hands on. So stock up now on that great Pennzoil protection. Quality Pennzoil in this handy plastic bottle and on sale. Now that's a real deal.
This bud's for everyone who puts the roads on the map.
This bud's for you. For all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, for you.
With only 3 more races to go, Elan Pro's chances of winning the World Championship are looking better and better. Last Sunday's once-postponed Belgian Grand Prix was an easy win for Ayrton Senna. This Brazilian, whose specialty seems to be the wet, led every lap. He and the others began the race on rain tires, but switched to slicks about 15 laps in. Teammates Nigel Mansell and K.K. Rosberg battled with each other for a while. Then Rosberg pitted for a second tire change, giving Nigel uncontested second place, his best finish ever in Formula One. Prost drove a conservative race, picked up 4 more points, and now has some breathing room. His closest rival in points, Michele Alboreto, was an early out. There were few accidents. Jacques Lafitte broke the suspension on his Ligier. American Eddie Cheever took the long walk back to the pits after his Alfa gave out. And Thierry Boutsen dropped from the race with only a few laps to go while running 5th. The European Grand Prix at Brands Hatch is next, October 3rd.
Well, for weeks it seemed inevitable, but with so many false alarms in recent years, you just didn't want to admit it until it was official. Now, finally, Texan Bubba Schobert is the AMA Grand National Champion. Last year, he lost by half a point, a season in which he won a race later taken away by suspension. Earlier this year, a surprise checker. He was waiting for the white, might have kept him from another win. He didn't take last week's race on the San Jose Mile, but when it was all over, the crusade was all Bubba. An unusual shape here allows for 6 to 7 lanes of racing. That's old pro Jay Springsteen wobbling. Road racing champ Wayne Rainey, a gratifying day, raced with the leaders. Harley-mounted Scott Parker threatened to run away with this race, but somehow Schobert's Honda teammate Ricky Graham caught up. On the last lap, Parker almost goes down, and Ricky's extra momentum powers him to the win. He's now taken 4 of the last 6. Schobert wins $44,000 for the championship and 20 grand more for also winning the Stroh Mile points. At last, he's done it. There will be no Formula One bike race at Daytona in 1986. It will be replaced by twin qualifying superbike races that will determine the starting positions 6 through 80. Now, the top 5 qualifiers will be locked in. A record purse of $155,000 will be distributed. That's an increase of $52,000 more over this year.
The NHRA at the Keystone Nationals. All 3 divisions saw a classic matchup in the finals. Pro Stock, Bruce Allen in the far lane against Warren Johnson. Bruce's 7.59 ET, 179.49, gives him his 3rd NHRA title this year. The Budweiser King, driven by Kenny Bernstein, lined up against Tim Gross in the Skoal Bend in the funny car finals. Kenny gives it all he's got. Gross loses a blower, but wins by 0.06 of a second, his first NHRA win of 85. The top fuel finals had points leader Don Garlitz against Joe Amato, 2nd in points. Big Daddy does it again, his 6th title this year. The ET is 5.44, speed 261.17.
In our next segment, the 12th winner in 13 years reigns in Indy.
In Outlaws, yet another classic duel between the dynamic duo.
Entertainment like never before. It's live from New York and wherever action abounds. It's Showbiz Today on CNN. Whoopee! All the glitter and glamour of the stars who shine. The hot spots and the hot shots. The inside rumors and on-target reviews. The latest showbiz news on the greatest show in town.
If it's happening in showbiz, you'll see it right here on CNN.
Catch Showbiz Today, weekday afternoons, live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, only on CNN.
Are you or aren't you going to order Cinemax?
Yes. No.
Okay, look what's on in August, then decide. How's more than 70 movies sound?
I know you guys talk my language.
Revenge of the Nerds, Streets of Fire, Red Dawn, Meatballs Part 2, Tex.
I think you're forgetting something.
Like Cinemax Originals, Harry Shearer on the Cinemax Comedy Experiment. Now are you going to order Cinemax? Call your local cable operator and tell him.
It's actually good for your television set.
Arrangements made through Eastern Airlines. Whether you're traveling on business or pleasure, chances are Eastern has a convenient flight going your way. Come fly with Eastern.
There has been a Hoosier 100 every year since 1953. The 1985 edition was last Saturday afternoon. Little Joe Saldana, who's said to be retiring at year's end, qualified for the pole in his number 4 Amerling. But Johnny Parsons' 10-year-old one-lap record survived. The fuel cell manufacturing man led almost half the race, but was then passed by Sheldon Kinzer. Some early favorites didn't survive the 100 miles. Johnny Parsons took his car to the pits. Rich Vogler smoked a while, then pulled off. Saldana's engine expired on lap 98, and that triggered this altercation involving Paul Clark and Rick Hood. This race ends under yellow, and with thoughts of Sanair in their minds, several drivers accelerate and pass Sheldon. But USAC rules give the win to Kinzer. Steve Butler was second, Bill Vukovich third, last year's winner Steve Chassie fourth. Just after the checkered, Chuck Gertie was helicoptered out to drive in a super-modified race that night in Las Vegas. In that event, Chuck came from last starting position to finish second. Wally Pankratz won the 40-lapper, but Wally is still 84 behind Gurney in points.
Many of the drivers in the Hoosier 100 raced at the USAC Midget 500 held just down the road from the fairgrounds at the Indianapolis Speedrome. 500 laps on the 5th mile, starting 11 rows of 3. Defending national champ Tom Bigelow on the pole. Early on, Bigelow, Rich Vogler, Nick Finoro Jr., and Matt McClellan assert superiority. This group never relinquishes. That's McClellan going high for the lead. Biggest leader, Finoro. His Robin's Egg Blue leads half the laps, but a pit infraction. He was in the car during refueling, disqualifies him. Mel Kenyon led for a while, but would finish 4th. Bob Ciccone traveled west from New Jersey for 5th. Fast qualifier, Indiana's Bobby Allen let Warren Mockler drive the final 300 into 3rd. McClellan runner-up, but Tom Bigelow, fortunate enough to pit under yellow, scored his only win of the year so far.
This Sunday at 12:30, we'll televise the Detroit News 200 IndyCar race from Michigan International Speedway. 28 entries have been received. Don Whittington will be back in the number 20 Patrick car. Danny and Gaius, who flipped down the backstretch during the Michigan 500, is entered. Roger Penske will have 3 cars with Mears, Unser, and Sullivan. Scott Brayton will be there. He crashed, by the way, in turn 4 recently while testing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
After Michigan, the next IndyCar race is Laguna Seca. Now, the Forsythes have entered 2 cars for that race, one for Howdy Holmes and the other for an unnamed European driver. Bobby Rahal was scheduled to test a March at the Ferrari facility in Italy earlier this week. And Bill Alsop has been named head judge of the 3-member kart panel that will hear protests filed by Pat Patrick and Alex Morales, Johnny Rutherford's car owner. The other 2 judges will be named later. Now, the protest stems from Emerson Fittipaldi's 1-lap penalty for allegedly passing the pace car at Pocono. It will be heard at 10 a.m. next Monday at the Airport Hilton in Detroit. The Morales protest, which involves the finish of the Sanair race, will be heard at 2 o'clock the same day.
A world endurance race will be held this weekend at Brands Hatch. Alan Jones is scheduled to drive a new Jaguar in that event. Jones will drive the Beatrice Lola Formula One car at that track in 2 weeks. Al Holbert is also scheduled to compete in that race with Vern Chupan as co-driver. They'll be in a Porsche 956 C2. That's a 962 chassis with a 956 engine. It's the same car that Holbert ran at Le Mans. The car will also utilize the Porsche-matic transmission, which requires the driver to shift gears, but without engaging the clutch.
Going into Ascot Park, it seemed like the world of outlaws might have to extend themselves just a bit. I mean, Ascot is so unique, and the locals run there so often, but wings were affixed, and the Woo regulars had things just like normal. Occasional outlaw Jimmy Sills led the first 9 laps after surviving this near tangle with Ron Schumann. But pretty soon, Kinzer moves under Sills, Swindell above Schumann. And for a while, it looked like Steve Kinzer was about to start another win streak. He finally won the night before. But Sammy caught him in traffic with just 2 laps to go. Swindell ran with 16 inches of stagger. The normal non-wing setup here is 5. Now, if they would just come back here without the wings.
When we return, it's Rick again in Can-Am.
And another champion is crowned, this one in W-Car. Stay with us.
There's been an important change in STP to better protect your engine. It's a new and improved formula. Now, here in your oil wings, STP fights to keep dirt and sludge from building up. This is a new STP, giving you extra protection from wear. Get new improved STP oil treatment.
STP is the racer's edge.
This Bud's for everyone who puts the roads on the map.
This Bud's for you. For all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do. This Bud's for you.
Racing. From the inside, no one covers it like Auto Week. Auto Week makes you an insider at the world's great race circuits every week. In the pits, behind the scenes, even in the cockpit with racing driver columnists in Formula One, NASCAR, and kart. Inside coverage just days after the race. And Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars, right behind the wheel. Auto Week takes you inside the whole automotive scene. Personalities, great cars of the past, columnists with inside scuttlebutt. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too. Call for a special 30-week trial subscription to Auto Week. 30 issues at the basic price of just $13.20, just 44 cents an issue. Call 1-800-554-2828 and save $24 over the newsstand price. Call right now, 1-800-554-2828. Let Auto Week make you an insider, too.
Oh, this is what we all feared. The guy with the almost unpronounceable last name is winning Can-Am races. It's turning into a two-man series. The veteran Horst Kroll, who today ties Lothar Machenbacher's record of 62 Can-Am starts, and Rick Miskiewicz, whose name has at least 4 pronunciations, this one from the Can-Am office itself. Anyway, Rick fired past pole-setter Kroll to the lead. Together, they trained up and disappeared. Canadian Kroll bird-dogged Rick until lap 33 when he used Hawaiian Dr. Lucelle, and he pulled off a Swindell to dart into the lead. A course caution summoned both leaders into the pits. Miskiewicz's Colorado crew tells you who got out first. Then immediately, Kroll spun under hard acceleration, saying, "I just blew it." But then Rick tried to even the score.
Yeah, I cut some of the grass back there coming out of 5. It looked a little long, so I thought I'd trim it down a bit.
It's a replay of the opening laps, Horst pounding Rick. But the man with the apparently difficult last name wins it and the points lead. Now, we don't have any trouble with his name. It's easy. Just say Rick.
The big racing weekend at St. Louis International Raceway also featured an SCCA Volkswagen Cup event. This 23-lap contest got off to a bad start for Michael Chung. He restarts, though, and finishes in the top 10. A little further down the track, David McKay is out of the race. The comment here is, darn it, or something like that. Peter Schwartzott in number 6 leads all the way in this one, while sometimes carrying the right rear. Alistair O gets second across the finish line, but is disqualified because of what the SCCA calls a technical violation. Les Bim in number 12 is also guilty of a violation and is fined $1,200 but awarded second. Paul Hacker in number 0 is third. This trio of Carl Hacker, Kurt Mathewson, and Randy Popes was 4th, 5th, and 6th.
One of the St. Louis support races, Sports Reno, almost started off with a huge thud. Watch carefully as Atlanta's Ben Burrell nicks Kevin Eichner, bangs the wall, and slides in front of the field. Miraculously damaged minor. Scott Harrington escaped with the early lead, but Burrell's teammate, local Dorsey Schroeder, fastest timer by the way, soon ducked underneath. These evenly horsepowered cars send the drivers searching for unfair advantages. Scott Tompkins straightened out the chicane, and Neil Tilbor tried dirt tracking, but Schroeder proved staying on the pavement was the road to victory.
Another championship was decided last weekend in Seattle, the West Coast Atlantic Series. 2 heats on this 2.25-mile road course. The first was an easy victory for Jeff Wood in car 26. Jeff led flag to flag, and now going into Heat 2, he needed only a 3rd place finish or better for the championship. At the green in the second heat, Dan Marvin took the lead and battled with Wood all race long, but Marvin took the checkered. In the winner's circle, Wood was not happy with Marvin's driving style, but only words were exchanged, and Jeff Wood was crowned W Car King for 1985. Indy 500 pole sitter Pancho Carter may be running a W car race September 29th at Sears Point to gain some road racing experience.
Here's this week's trivia question. Who has the most Hoosier 100 lifetime wins? A. Al Unser, B. A.J. Foyt, C. Mario Andretti, D. Jimmy Bryan, or E. Chuck Gurney? Bob will have the answer in a moment.
BF Goodrich TA Radials. Update. For enthusiasts. Subject. Advanced Tire Laboratories. Top speed. About 220 miles an hour. 0 to 60. About 4 seconds. Tires. Experimental BF Goodrich TA Radials. Cars. Porsche 962s. The ultimate BF Goodrich Laboratories. Testing the technology of tomorrow's tires. Of course, we like to win, but we race to learn. And learn we do. Because no track can possibly duplicate the forces that act on tires quite like the racetrack. And the racetrack is where TA Radial technology develops in competition with special purpose racing tires. The result? High-performance street tires for you. Watch TA Radials and Porsche perform today and see the technology of tomorrow. BF Goodrich TA Radials. We make cars perform.
Sunday, join ESPN at one of the nation's fastest tracks for live coverage of CART's Detroit News Grand Prix. Last year, Johnny Rutherford became the fastest qualifier in IndyCar history at Michigan International Speedway. This year, everyone's out to surpass the record. Find out if they make it. Live Sunday.
Tonight, television's #1 network for auto racing doubles the high-speed danger. First, the Belgium Grand Prix, then USAC's Hot 100. Tonight.
Here's the answer to this week's trivia question. Unser won 4 in a row in the early 70s, Andretti 2 consecutive in the mid-60s. Bryan scored 3 in a row in the 50s, and Gurney has 2 wins. But Foyt scored back-to-back wins 3 times for a total of 6. That's the best ever.
San Diego hosted the final race of the unlimited hydroplane season. The event didn't produce a new winner, but at least the others stopped Chip Hanauer's string of 4 consecutive victories. The consistent Miss Executone telephone with Scott Pierce at the helm was second, but Jim Kropfeld finally thwarted a season of mechanical problems to win his second Miller High Life Regatta in a row, piloting Miss Bud.
We had problems, as everyone knows, but you know, the Miller race here, this is the second one they sponsored, and we won both of them, so we're looking for them to sponsor more races next year.
Hopefully they'll sponsor about 15 next year.
Right.
Turbine-powered Miss Miller American reigns as the Thunderbolt King this year. Driver Hanauer won 5 races. Along with Kropfeld, they have won 15 of 19 during the past 2 seasons. Executone and Pierce second in points, third to Miss Bud and Kropfeld, fourth, one-time winner Steve Reynolds and Miss 7-Eleven, and fifth, Jerry Hopp and the masculine Oh Boy Oberto.
Again, a reminder, we'll have live coverage of the IndyCar race Sunday at Michigan International Speedway at 12:30 Eastern Time. I'm Bob Jenkins.
And I'm Larry Newber. I'll wrap up on that race and others next week here on Speedweek. And we leave you this week with the bikes on the San Jose Mile.
Speedweek has been brought to you by BF Goodrich, makers of high-performance TA radials. We make cars perform.
Hope you enjoyed Speedweek.